Let me start, Pat and Rachel, with this question to you. It's kind of a devil's advocate position for me, but Pat, you can run with this, and then Rachel, please respond. We look at the Democratic field after a debate like that and say, okay, John Edwards made a good showing tonight. Whether or not he's ahead is not particularly germane to this one point. He's out there, looks like a good candidate. Obama's out there, looks like a good candidate. Hillary Clinton's out there, looks like a candidate. Many positionings of the Republicans say, all right, you've had three major primaries, Pat, two primaries and a caucus, and three different winners, so it's chaos theory. Why is it that those three Republicans don't carry the same stature, seemingly, at least in that construct, that the three Democrats do?
Well, the three Democrats out there in Iowa, they got together about 2.5 times the number of votes the Republicans got, and the Republicans quite frankly, do not look like the dominant party this year. There's no doubt about it. It's much more exciting, Hillary Rodham Clinton and Obama. And I would say the Democrats are favored, Keith, no question about it. But I do think this. The Democrats had a horrible week with this attacks on one another over the race issue, drugs, etc., and they all backed off. Also, you noticed Edwards and Obama backed off from the pile-on in New Hampshire, and Hillary resumed the regal queen role, as Chris Matthews has been talking. So I think, look, Hillary Rodham Clinton is the favorite for the nomination now and probably the favorite for the presidency. But I do think the Republicans have, at least in Romney, who can be a national candidate, a potential to win this election.
You know, it's funny, a lot of Democrats, at least anecdotally and in the blog world and in talk radio, were really rooting for Romney to win in Michigan because they wanted him to stay in the race. I think there's a sense, particularly among activist-oriented Democrats, that Romney would be a real easy mark, that he doesn't have much of a chance of getting to the general, and if he did, he'd be easy to pick off. And so Democrats were hoping for Romney to stay in the race because he's got so much money, and as long as he's in the race, you can be assured that there'll be a lot of negative ads out there. When you add up all the Republican candidates right now for president, they combined have something like $8 million less cash on hand than just Hillary Clinton has. The Republicans can't raise any money. They can't get anybody to turn out for their elections. There's so much more excitement on the Democratic side right now. It does look very lopsided heading into the general.
But look, I agree with that, but I will say this. Obama has moved too far to the left. He's got vulnerabilities. I mean, if the Republicans can't beat him, they really ought to pack it in. Hillary Rodham Clinton, we all know her problems, and she is yesterday. Now, let's take Romney and even Huckabee. At least they are fresh, they are new, they are different. Once you get into a campaign, it's going to be, each party's going to walk in with about 42, 43% of the vote. And the battle is going to be for the rest of that. Now, I agree the Democrats are favored. But if the Republicans can't beat Hillary Rodham Clinton, then frankly they deserve to lose. Bush will be gone, frankly. After August, he's gone.
I think you're misreading how Obama comes across. I think the reason that Obama is surprising people is because whatever his list of policies are that he supports, he comes across as a really moderate guy. And even when we got into some of the nitty-gritty domestic policy stuff today, he doesn't come across to people as a lefty. He's going to appeal to independents in the same way that John McCain does. I don't think Obama's vulnerable from his left flank.
But look, he doesn't come across as a lefty, Rachel, because he's not a lefty. He's not a lefty to you, Rachel.
Let me try to get between the two of you, which is rather easy, actually, politically. Rachel, I think you're dead right about how the people on the Democratic side are probably most worried about McCain as an adversary because he does have that appeal in the suburbs and among moderate, well, pro-choice people, even though he's pro-life. He seems to have that sort of Maverick's edge. I do not know how Romney, however, is able to win in the South, Pat. I mean, he can win in Romney country, if you will, of Michigan. But how does he go down south as an LDS guy, as a man with really no evangelical connection? How does he go into the Bible Belt where the Republican Party seems to be based now?
Here's how it goes, Chris. Look. Romney has won. He gets a bye in South Carolina. He's going to win Nevada, and you're going to hear Nevada described.
Who's giving him the bye? You gave it to him?
Well,
you gave it to him? Who gave it to him?
Look, just the way that Huckabee got a bye.
Where do we get these buys? Where's this NCAA thing going on here where you get buys?
This is analysis. Let me tell you what's going to happen. Fred Thompson.
Analysis? You're giving him a bye because you know he can't win in Bible country.
Look,
that's your buy situation.
Listen. Chris, you were not right in New Hampshire. Let me talk about South Carolina. All right?
Nobody
Thompson's got to
Pat,
win.
Neither were you, buddy.
Fred Thompson's got to win in South Carolina or he's gone. If Huckabee loses South Carolina, I think Huckabee's in real trouble. This will be a McCain-Romney race. I think McCain doesn't have to win in South Carolina, but I do think Huckabee and Thompson do. Is that mistaken?
No, I just think it's interesting that the Republican Party apparently believes in rationing now because you're giving each candidate a victory. I think you guys were against rationing. Rachel, this is an interesting approach to marketing. Give each candidate a victory, and at the end of all, Rudy Giuliani stays in the race because he gets to win maybe Florida, Pat. Maybe he has even Stephen with all 4 other guys.
Rudy's got to win in Florida. We all agree on that. That's why I say Romney doesn't have to win those. He's going to be out there on February 5th regardless. He's already in the finals.
Each of these guys, what they could win, they could each be the head of the state Republican Party.
Hey, Rachel, before you agree with Pat on something, I never said that Hillary was regal tonight. I said she was commanding. I said she acted in a very strong way as a power player. I did not, Pat, you've got that in your head. I said she was a power player tonight. She showed a commanding ability to go beyond Las Vegas, where she is now, and go right to Denver at the convention and offer herself up as the main challenger to the Bush legacy. She did it very effectively tonight. Pat, I don't need you as my translator, thank God.
She returned to her role as running as the presidential candidate,
That's exactly,
which she had before New Hampshire. She returned to it.
But in our Republican form of government, that's not called the Queen. Pat Buchanan and Rachel Maddow are staying with us. When Keith and I return, much more from Las Vegas. We'll be right back.